So guys, this aircraft has probably what is the worst flight model in the game, in a general sense, especially if you compare to other top tier jets or close to top tier jets. I'm talking about the MiG-29 in a general sense, but specifically we tested the SMT. Let's take a look on some dogfights and try to draw some conclusions that a change needs to happen in this aircraft. I don't know what, and you're gonna help me try to find what would be the solution, okay? So we tried to do some dogfights over here. We tried to fly against the F-14 and many other aircraft over here. And you will see that this aircraft has a major problem to it. It feels like a brick. Yes, it is a heavier aircraft than the normal MiG-29s. If you take the MiG-29s, the normal MiG-29s, it would be better. But this aircraft, I don't know, man. It's honestly complicated to compare with real life because obviously you don't have a lot of people that flew MiG-29s in real life to compare to it. And even if you compare to DCS, it's kind of hard. And in DCS, this aircraft does feel, you know, brickish, but way less than this. I'm talking about the MiG-29 in general, right? It is an aircraft that loses so much energy in a turn. And although you can pull now the proper AOA, it doesn't fix the aircraft. I thought it would. I did even some videos talking about it. But at the end of the day, the aircraft just doesn't have what it takes to do a dogfight. And honestly, we're gonna even compare to some of the other 13.3s in the game because we have like 3 of them in the game, but we're gonna compare to one, and you will see how worse this thing is in every single thing. So against the F-14B, which is a way heavier aircraft, you just have troubles dealing with it. I'm not saying that the MiG-29 should stomp on F-14, but you barely can do a dogfight in it. If you try to not use the AOA limiter, you know, being off, you're just gonna die. And if you try to use it, the aircraft loses a lot of energy, and when it is at very low airspeeds, it doesn't do anything. The only way of doing something in a dogfight over here is by using the HMD, the HMS, you know, together with the R-73. It is the only way that this aircraft can actually get a kill in a dogfight like this, in a 1v1. Of course, in a real battle, it would be different because obviously we have different type of ways of dealing with stuff in a real battle. You know, normally it would mean that you can basically use your speed to get people by surprise. You can have different, you know, situation of the aircraft. You can have an ace pilot and the enemy doesn't have one. You can have a spaded vehicle and the enemy doesn't have one. So it changes very much, of course, but these aircraft cannot fight against most aircraft. And like I said, the only way of you doing something over here is by using your HMS together with the R-73, which is kind of crazy. I mean, you can do well with it, but the aircraft cannot do anything. And if you miss, you're dead, like this. So it's really, really complicated to fly this thing. And I'm not even including stuff that we already talked about last week, like for example the inability of this aircraft to do BVR right now. Although it has the R-77, the R-77 is just not a BVR weapon almost. I mean, it is, but you know, it's an aircraft that has a missile that has very low range compared to the other things that are in these BRs already. It suffers from not having a lot of energy retention. It is heavy. It's just there is no reason for you to grind this aircraft. Imagine getting the last aircraft of a lineup and having to fly this thing. It's crazy. There's no reason to do it. I mean, look at this. The only way for me having a chance of killing a target is using the button, the AOA limiter off, and trying to get a shot out with the HMS. It's the only chance that I have at the beginning of the dogfight, and if I miss, I am basically dead. Like, look at this. The aircraft is just a brick. I cannot turn very much. I cannot regain the energy. The aircraft is uncontrollable below a certain speed. And most aircraft are like this, but if you compare to something like an F-18, for example, the aircraft can very much be reasonable, and although you cannot aim properly, you can control the aircraft and regain the energy. The aircraft just dies. Below like 300, the aircraft is not doing anything else. It is just gonna go there. It doesn't stall it out. It doesn't go upwards. It doesn't go downwards. It just remains there, and you are basically dead, right? And another thing that it's a problem is that this aircraft at the end of the day has very, very bad problems with a reverse roll, right? Or an aileron roll, whatever you want to call it, right? When you are in a very high speed, very low speeds, and pulling the AOA limiter off, you are basically dead, right? So the aircraft is just gonna, you know, do a different aileron roll that you should, and you're not able to do anything. And if you are one of those guys that think that I'm doing something wrong with this aircraft, go ahead and fly the thing. Honestly, like, try to fly the thing, try to get kills with it, try to do something, and you will see how hard this thing is to fly. Like I said before, the only chance you have is, I mean, look at this. I was trying to put the nose down, but the aircraft wasn't responding anymore. I was trying to control the aircraft, but it was just impossible at that point there. And I have to wait for the aircraft, to the gravity to pull the aircraft. I cannot pull a nose up here. I cannot do anything to fire a missile. And I'm basically just with an enemy on my 6. So the only chance that I have is using the AOA that this thing has initially to fire a missile and maybe try to get a kill like this. I tried to do various amounts of different things. We tried for like more than an hour to try to make this aircraft work every single time, but the only thing that I could manage to make it work is, like I said, make the aircraft have the first shot. And then after that, you're kind of dead. Which can be realistic. I don't know. You tell me. That's the thing. I want to actually start the conversation here. What is the... Like, what should be happening with this aircraft? Because it's really, really hard to fly this thing. It really is. Especially because out of each 10 matches that you play with this thing, you will have basically one that it's a down tier. Every single other one will be a top tier. Okay, so it is just hard. And the last dogfight that we did here is against the JF-17, the Jeff, right? The Jeff is an aircraft that is in the same BR as this, but it has a way better BVR missile. You know, the PL-12, the SD-10 is just way better. And there is another thing. This aircraft was stock. The JF-17 was stock, and it uses the same engine as the MiG-29. Of course, each aircraft to their own flight model and to their own, physics and everything. But it is weird that a stock JF-17 that is in the same BR as this thing can control so much better in the lower airspeeds than the MiG-29. The MiG-29 just doesn't like to do anything when it's at the lower airspeeds. I'm trying to do something in the dogfight here, but I cannot do anything, and I'm basically dead. So it's just complicated to fly the thing. Yes, I might be doing some mistakes. I've flown this aircraft for a very long time. Yes, it's been a while since I flew it before the update, because it was just not caring about it because it was dying so much. So I really was eager to try it on after the update, but it's not worth it. The aircraft is just really hard to fly. You can get kills with it, but it's just really, really hard, and you're gonna die a lot. It's for those who want basically a challenge. Okay, so let me know in the comments, what should Gaijin do to fix this aircraft like they did with the Su-27? I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye guys. See ya.